This is Standing Watch. And now, Evangelist Norbert Link.
Greetings everyone, and welcome back to our Standing Watch program. I believe that many of us have watched with great interest and with anticipation the meeting between Donald Trump and Friedrich Merz from Germany. And of course, they got together for the first time since both were elected, and they tried to be extremely friendly towards each other. But I did detect, upon close scrutiny, some disagreements which were already explained and expressed in front of the camera, in front of the journalists. Now, many of the things which people were hoping would be discussed were not discussed. Nothing was said about tariffs. Nothing was said about actually the criticism J.D. Vance had uttered towards Germany insofar as their treatment with the AfD, the Alternative for Germany, was concerned, and the response by Merz saying, hey, this is our domestic policy, we don't want America to get involved here. Grinnell, the former ambassador to Germany, had told Trump to remind and remember this, and of course he didn't mention anything, and neither did J.D. Vance. Now, what was interesting to me, first of all, was the fact how fluent Merz is in English. Now, that was a very welcome surprise. I didn't know that he was that fluent. And he spoke in English, he also spoke in German. And so we didn't need any simultaneous translation, which in most cases is not that good, and sometimes doesn't even relate the gist of comments which are being made. Judging from past experience, when people who came from non-speaking English, non-speaking countries were speaking in their native language, and then a simultaneous translator tried to translate what they allegedly had said, and if I did understand the native language, I would say, no, wait a minute, this is not what was being said. So this was different here. Angela Merkel was, for instance, somebody who wouldn't speak in English, even though she did speak English and does speak English. And one of the first things Trump did was to attack Angela Merkel when it came to the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, because she supported it. Of course, Trump stopped it. And then he turned to Merz, who also didn't support it. And of course, the relationship between Merz and Merkel has never been good. And so it was one of these little things in order to bring about quote-unquote harmony in front of the cameras. But there was one situation which I felt was extremely interesting when it came to rearmament. Now, Trump, who did most of the talking, which is always to be expected, was asked about the American military, and he said, yeah, we have such a great military and we are building it up and people really want to join the military, they stand in line. And then Merz asked the question, why is that? And of course Trump answered, it's a different spirit, it's a spirit. Now, Merz wants to make Germany the most powerful country in Europe with the biggest European army, or German army for that matter. But right now, Pistorius, the defense minister, has just said that they need 60,000 troops. And of course, they're not going to get it based on volunteers. So conscription is on the horizon. And so, of course, Merz was very interesting to see how can he build up the Bundeswehr. Now, of course, interestingly enough, most Germans now are in support of building it up, giving more and more money to the Bundeswehr, something which would have been unthinkable years ago. And then, of course, Trump said that he won overwhelmingly during the last campaign and election, and he turned to Merz and said, yeah, you did the same. Of course, Merz didn't do the same at all. He hardly made it. And of course, he only made it because of his compromises he entered into with his coalition party, the SPD. But then Trump was asked a question about Ukraine, and he made a comment like, too many people are dying, and is he going to issue sanctions against Putin? And he said, well, it's in my brain right now. And then he compared both Zelensky and Putin with two kids fighting. And he said, sometimes you have to let them fight. And then Merz was asked whether he agreed with that characterization, and he didn't quite agree with that at all. He said, no, we are supporting Ukraine. And pretty much blamed Russia for what's going on. And he said, and Russia is killing civilians, and Ukraine never does. And of course, Trump responded, no, he didn't say that's not true, but he kind of said it in so many words. He said, yeah, but they are both destroying houses. And the implication is, of course, civilians living in those houses. Now, that is a bone of contention. And Merz turned to Trump and said, and you are the one. You are the only one who can stop that war, and we are looking towards you to do it. And so Trump said, yeah, we'll talk about that. And then he just evaded the subject and talked about something else. And then also the question was asked, now, what about Germany's rearmament? How do you feel about that they are spending more and more money now for defense, quote unquote? And he said, well, I like it, but of course I'm also reminded of General MacArthur, who said, don't ever allow Germany to rearm. And he said, well, I'm looking at that, and then I wonder, is this now a good thing or is that a bad thing? And then the time may come, he said, kind of jokingly perhaps, but not totally, where I will tell Germany, now enough is enough. Now that, I thought, was perhaps the most interesting exchange because of biblical prophecy. We know from the Bible that ultimately it is going to be Europe under German leadership, which is going to attack the United States of America militarily. So what we are seeing right now is America is creating a Frankenstein monster, which then is going to turn against its master, its leader, so to speak. Now, whether Trump has an inkling of what may happen, or whether he was just speaking in general terms, will have to be seen. I don't believe that he understands the Bible, making this clear prophecy. Now, many people don't understand that anyhow. When I make comments like that, people respond and say, well, where in the Bible does it say that Europe is going to attack America, which is having the biggest army in the world? Well, of course, it is true. America has the biggest, most powerful army in the world. But God is saying in the Bible that when the trumpet is being sounded, when call for fighting is going to be heard, nobody will fight. And God can do that. God will do that. It's prophesied. It's going to happen. It doesn't matter how big and how powerful an army may be. And then the next question is, well, where in the Bible is even Germany and the United States mentioned? They're even mentioned in the Bible. Where does it say that they are going to be in war? Well, of course, the words Germany and the United States of America are not mentioned. They are mentioned, however, in literally hundreds of scriptures under different names. And so you need to know who those powers are and where they are mentioned. And we have prepared many booklets about this. Now, of course, people are not willing to read those booklets. They want to give an answer before they have heard. And that's foolishness in the eyes of God. Read our free booklets on Germany in prophecy, the fall and rise of Europe and Germany, fall and rise of Britain and America, and you will see the proof you're looking for if you're actually looking for those proofs, rather than just dismissing them out of hand. But these are interesting comments which we have heard, and of course we don't know what is going to go on behind the scenes. Merz was actually asked by the Germans, and maybe also the Europeans, to stand up to Trump and to show him what Trump needs to do. Now, if he really does that, that's going to be not going to go over very well. So we have to keep watching. We have to keep focusing on the issues which are really important in the light of biblical prophecy, and we are here to tell you about them. And so that is why this program is called Standing Watch. And so until next time, this is Norbert Link, and have a good remainder of the week, and until next week, Norbert Link for the Standing Watch program.
Standing Watch is a presentation by the Church of the Eternal God, P.O. Box 270519, San Diego, California 92198. More information is also available at our website, eternalgod.org.